Hi, and welcome to the Olaf Skirmishing and Team Fight guide. Here I'm going to cover a couple of things such as target selection, fighting role, and diving or peeling. To kind of give you a little bit of a background as to what's happening right now prior to this skirmish, because this is what it's going to be as a skirmish. I was trying to keep Shen in lane because I had a very massive advantage on him, as you can just look at the CS differences. And however, he was able to recall, and we both basically teleported into a fight into bot. I believe that they have the numbers advantage. However, we ended up having a major health advantage, as you can see, along with Soraka also being out of mana. Right here, I'm going to kind of pause the action here and kind of give you an insight as to what I'm kind of thinking here. So, target number one, obviously I threw my axe. However, I did throw it just a tad too far, and you'll see kind of in the end where it may not have messed everything up. Moving onwards, Yi is the first target. Yi is also the closest to our base. He's also the lowest health. So, considering that the whole goal of Shen here was to potentially protect somebody on his team, what we're going to do is we're just flat out going to kill somebody. That puts us ahead. Not only that, we're also at a numbers disadvantage. The fact that we can put a numbers disadvantage, but we have a health advantage. So it kind of counteracts their numbers. Not only that, like I said earlier, Soraka can't really heal anybody. So it's basically a lost cause at this point. Now, Shen hits me with his taunt. I immediately want to ult away from that. That is the only real CC other than the Soraka snare, I guess. However, so knowing that my ghost is about to come off cooldown, boom, he's going to be the first target here. And then, from there, just based off of health-wise, we're going to want to go for Sivir. Boom, we kill Yi. Now here's where my axe mistake ends up happening, but I need to pick it up because I don't have Ghost. And then Soraka, being the noble support she is, she kills herself for Sivir. On to the next one. So this time I'm full health, and I'm teleporting to bot lane once again with another skirmish. Alright, so now as soon as my teleport completes, I'm going to kind of give you an insight again. That's what the pause is for. To where my mind is at and where, the variables I'm kind of looking at here. So the first variable I'm looking at is where my team is in relation to yours. I mean theirs. The enemy team, that is. So I see here that my team is basically clumped around this Yi. And the enemy team is also further away, but I'm also closer and clumped behind the enemy team. So if they were smart, they all three could potentially try to kill me in response. But they also don't have the numbers advantage here. So this Yi ends up trying to, try to kill onto the Orianna, and that's that. However, I also see that the Shen and the Sivir were conveniently running away from me, like the pansies that they are. Knowing that's his goal, we kill Yi. I'm also conveniently zoning the Sivir and the Shen here, which is also why, again, adds the factor as to why we want to kill the Yi first. Next target's the Sivir. She does damage. She's also squishier than Shen, so it's much easier to get another kill onto them. And then Shen dies as a +1 effort as well. Right at the beginning here, I get the axe. This is another skirmish, by the way. I get the axe. Try to immediately follow this up. Right here, I made the mistake of essentially running into Vel'Koz's knock-up, as well as wasting time on my ultimate to try to get to the Sivir. I was way too low here to actually be able to dive anyone. That being said, I also make the mistake of queuing, or I should say reckless swinging, instead of using undertow. She lives with just barely any health. which sucks, but that's so well. I also was able to set up that entire ongoing skirmish because of my slow onto the two important characters on their team. So regardless there, I still want to follow up and die for my team. Finally, we get to a good old-fashioned team fight here. The Yi being in the bot lane obviously is the exception, but I would still consider this overall a team fight here. So as you can see right here, the positioning of the enemy team is very, very poor. So you've got Soraka literally in the front, no flash, and she's slowed from the Jhin ultimate. Then behind her you've got Shen, and then behind Shen you've got your two carries. Now you're gonna notice that I'm gonna come from the left-hand side there, and I'm gonna essentially flank in here. Alright, now here we go. Perfect slow. You've got the Shen. Granted, the Orianna ultimate could have been better, but regardless, Shen is completely isolated from the rest of his team, and I've got the backline squishies to be able to just, boom, instantly run in there and fucking destroy them. So the goal here, obviously, is to try to get a nice slow onto the Soraka here. What ends up happening here is that I got the nice slow, right? But then I realized that, okay, I'm probably not going to have a whole lot of follow-up. I'm quite low, and even just on this screen, well, where's the rest of my team? Effectively, what I would be doing by continuing to attempt to dive the Soraka and the Sivir, I would end up putting myself in a worse situation than if I were to just flat out turn and help kill the Shen. Most of my team is actually like right below the Shen, as you can see on the mini-map. They're just right below the Shen. So because of that, the best idea right now isn't anymore to dive the carries, it's to secure this kill on Shen and soak up as much damage as possible. Because I actually don't even have to dive anyone, even though I'm so fed and I, potentially can. But I don't really want to go through all of that effort just to die again. I would much rather soak up the damage, get a kill on the Shen, and then back off and let my team do the rest of the work. So allowing this to play out, I get exhausted immediately. My Sterax gets procced. So like I said, I instantly turned on to Shen. Well, luckily, we had another really tanky-ass member on our team, which was Trundle. He ulted the Shen, took his resistances, and then boom. We had me as the tank. I got low, we slid out, and then we had the Trundle become tank. Here we are, once again, with yet another team fight. We grab the Baron, and I'm actually getting a really, really nice, clean-looking flank here. Meanwhile, Shen is in the mid lane. So it's another 5v4 situation, and I'm just going to calmly, pull up behind them, and I'm going to instantly go on the Sivir here, simply because she's separated from Soraka, so I know that I'll easily be able to get a nice, easy kill on her, and then go from there. I switch targets, I get the slow onto the Soraka, which was the important thing. I ignore the Shen completely. Again, Shen does 0 damage to me, and then we end up diving the Soraka here. And then we get another kill onto the Vel'Koz, and then I say, fuck this, I'm out. Okay, here we are with the last clip. This is the last team fight here. Basically, right there, I was trying to be a little intimidating. I also really wanted to get the turret. There's 0 pressure on the enemy team in order to actually physically kill me. So I know that, I'm hardy enough, I'm strong enough to really just tank bits of damage here and there and also get the turret. What ends up happening is that I also am afraid because we actually lost the wave there, so there are no creeps to tank the turret, and I definitely don't want to be tanking a turret. So what ends up happening is I try to get away, I end up getting taunted by Shen, and that actually basically forced me to ult away. Alright, once I ult away, I want to make sure that I get just out of turret range. My stair axe actually ends up proccing, which isn't really that great. However, now I'm no longer tanking turret. Once that happens, I see the Yi is just ulted, and he's also trying to target, I believe it's the Graves. So again, I want to prevent that from happening. I see that who is it? The Trundle is the one who's tanking turret right now. So I don't have to care about Jhin right now. My main focus, main target's going to be that Yi. So I went from basically being frontline, or, you know, dive potential, just being in the enemy's face, to back it off, protecting my carries. So as you can see, overall, you're going to want to balance out where exactly you're going to be in a team fight. You're not just going to straight up dive all game. You're not just straight up going to attempt to protect your carries or kill whoever's diving your carries. Essentially, you want your priority list, and I've kind of already written that out a little bit in the guide. Just kind of follow that, and it should easily come to you whether or not you need to dive someone, or, you know, if you need to commit, or who do you want to commit on. Overall, like I said, it's a pretty simple process. You just got to figure out, that's the main thing, is you have to figure out if you're going to dive someone, or not necessarily who you're going to dive, but it's whether or not, period, if you're going to dive, or if you're going to attempt to peel off for your carries. And most of that is highly dependent on both your team's health and positioning and the enemy's health and positioning. Alright, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.